Hey folks, I've got a Fender Starcaster here, or a Starcaster by Fender. It's like a mid 2000s, probably early 2000s, and if you don't know much about these, they were big box store kind of guitar package buys that you could buy with an amplifier and a cord and a strap and a bag. This thing came to me by way of a thrift store. I just bought it to see if I could make any sort of a decent playing guitar out of it. Well, long story short, it's got a lot of neck relief in it, and the truss rod's maxed out, and it's really not worth it to me to keep pursuing the neck. The bridge, I had to put like 5 springs in it just to get enough tension to even bring the bridge back to level. Now, I've checked the saddles out. The saddles lowered all the way down, the ones that don't have stuck screws because of rust. But anyway, the ones that I've lowered all the way down are still too high, which means I would need to shim the neck. The switch is broken. The pots are muddy and scratchy. The jack is broken, and it is not worth me putting hours of time into this guitar. So we're just going to do a teardown video today, and along the way I can sort of show you what's inside these things and how bad they actually are. Okay, well, what I've got on here is an extremely rusty set of strings. I've already taken off the back plate because remember I was messing around in here with springs. But I think what I'll do now is go ahead and detune, cut the strings off, and see what's under this pick guard after that. So let's go ahead and get these strings off. Alright, well, I've got the strings off. I'm just in awe of how cheap this thing is. I mean, it's unbelievably cheap. I can't imagine how wet this neck was when they put these frets in. It's just Sprout City. Let's go ahead and, I think I'm just going to take the neck off next. Well, now that I've got the neck off this thing, I will say it's a weird construction. It's a maple neck with a maple fretboard, meaning to say that it's not all one-piece construction. It's definitely in 2 pieces, with the fretboard being separate. I don't know if that heel is a standard heel, but it feels like it. It just has a lot of mass up here in this area, which makes it very forward heavy, and the headstock is fairly thick. So obviously some money was saved by not putting an insert in the truss rod hole, and there's some other things that are sort of money saving features on it, but it does have what looks to be an actual walnut inlay where they laid in the truss rod, but the heel looks strange to me, so I'm not sure if it's real. Bad frets. Not much else to say about it, really. Oh, cheapy plastic nut and terrible tuners. I think that's all to be expected. Let's see what's going on inside here. Inside here, they're essentially the cheapest possible pickups you could ever imagine. Ceramic bar magnets, really thin, but shielded wire in a way. It's kind of that thin conductor with a braided shield wrapped around it. Mini pots that are really muddy and hard to turn. The switch is one of those metal cased sort of breadboard style switches, so it's definitely super cheap. I don't think there's anything that's a mystery here, although I was trying to figure out what's going on with this capacitor. Doesn't look like this tone control would actually work. The pickguard itself is nice, I guess. I mean, it's fully shielded, 3-layer. It's kind of a weird color. I'm not sure if that's the stock pickguard, but it does look like it's appropriate for the age. Other than that, I can probably salvage some screws and some springs and some other miscellaneous parts, but for the most part, this thing is garbage. I think I'll take that out next. No surprise here. It's one of those really thin gauge, really cheap jacks. It's kind of got this steep angle to it and not much contact area. And this particular one, the nut seems to be seized. This plate is really thin. I'm not sure if it's worth using on another project or not. Let me get the bridge wire out. I ended up cutting out the bridge wire and cutting out the jack wire because those are not worth my time. The body itself, surprise beyond all surprises, is a solid wood body, and I can't believe that. It looks like it might even be a full thickness body. Let's get a measurement on it. 1.784. It absolutely is. That is super wild. Well, I guess if you're looking for a project body and you can find one of these Starcasters for 50 bucks, this might actually be a decent little body to use for a project build. It's full thickness and solid wood, so that it's got that going for it. Doesn't have the best finish on it in the world. It's definitely a poly finish. Definitely kind of quickly done, to put it mildly. But you know, I guess it could polish up okay if you had the time to do it. It doesn't feel like there's any seams in it where you can see multiple pieces in the body, but I'm sure they're there. I'm going to take the tremolo off just to see if I see any more surprises. I would say, other than the back plate being drilled for sort of a Chinese style plate, where I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but on an import body, the middle two screws are not offset from each other, they're straight across. Other than that, it looks like a pretty standard route for the tremolo cavity. It has the typical ledge. I don't know, I mean, I guess this seems like an okay body. Anyway, I'll probably take these last couple of parts off camera, but I think the moral of the story here is super cheap hardware, super cheap electronics. That's really not surprising at all. The neck may have been okay when it was new, but 15, 20 years later, it would require a ton of work to get that to work. And this body is maybe the saving grace of the whole thing. So anyway, yeah, I guess that's a little secret now that I'm gonna keep with me, is that if I ever see a Starcaster that has a decent little body, then I might pick up for something. But other than that, worthless guitar. Not surprising. But thank you guys for watching. If you like my videos, be sure to click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment if you feel so inclined. See you guys next time.